Mortal Kombat 1 killed Sub-Zero. No, not like that. I'm talking about character assassination. Because despite being a fan favorite character, Mortal Kombat 1 treats Sub-Zero like trash. For 90% of story mode, he's either losing or doing absolutely nothing, and I wish I was joking. Let's get one thing clear right away. Sub-Zero is the second most popular character in the series. Every Mortal Kombat fan knows this. Scorpion is number 1 because he's loud, and that catchphrase alone made him popular enough to get on all the box art. But Sub-Zero is right behind him. I can admit that as a Sub-Zero fan myself. He's never gonna be number 1, which is fine, and I've made peace with that. But NetherRealm needs to stop killing this man in every trailer.
Finish him!
Because the fanbase adores Sub-Zero. However, the trailers aren't canon, and this man would never be treated that badly in story mode, right? Just kidding, of course he's crapped on the entire time. In fact, Sub-Zero might be done the dirtiest in this game, because he is a fan favorite character, number 2 out of the entire series, and yet he spends 90% of story time just sucking icicles. And I mean really sucking those things. The man gets iced in his own chapter for Pete's sake. More on that later though. Let's start from the beginning. Right out of the gate, Sub-Zero is taking losses, back to back. And I mean that literally. He loses in chapter 1 and then again in chapter 2, which is already a terrible start for the second favorite character in the series. And yes, I know these losses don't technically count because he's either acting or not trying very hard to win, but it's still dumb because Sub-Zero shouldn't be there anyway. The man is Grand Master in this new timeline. Why is he being sent on these dumb missions by Liu Kang? That alone justifies why he hates this guy. Sub-Zero should be handling everyone else's job right now because he's literally the man in charge. He should be back at home base doing Grand Master stuff, not fake fighting with Kung Lao and Raiden and then Johnny Cage right after. We don't even get to play Sub-Zero until chapter 8, which is way too long in my opinion. This game takes way too long to play Sub-Zero and Scorpion. NetherRealm should have started the game with these characters. You'd lead with that shit. You want to make Mortal Kombat 1 a fan favorite game right away? Start story mode with the 2 fan favorite characters. If I wrote Mortal Kombat 1, that's how it would have went down. The first mission would have been switching between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, along with fatalities and all that gory stuff the series is loved for. And then once that crazy first mission is over, you transition to Kung Lao and Raiden to show the contrast in lifestyle. Wouldn't that be much better? Because as the player, you see all the crazy stuff happening behind the scenes with these deadly warriors doing all this crazy ninja stuff, and then immediately after you see the peace it brings to Earthrealm and how Raiden and Kung Lao have been living happy farmer lives until now. Wouldn't that be an amazing contrast and a much better story mode? Hire me, NetherRealm. I'm a good writer. I even made 2 comic books. You should check them out. No, seriously, you the viewer should use my link down below and order a comic book today. It's only $10 and you'll love it. But alright, back to Sub-Zero. He doesn't get to do anything cool for most of story mode. Instead, he's literally just waiting around most of the time until chapter 8 or something like that, when we finally get to play him. And guess what? He gets his butt kicked by regular henchmen. Why does NetherRealm keep doing this? They make our favorite characters look like idiots to the point where it's a meme. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are supposed to be masters of stealth. In fact, they literally say that to Kung Lao or something. I forget who they actually say it to, but that's not important. Sub-Zero says that nobody can move like they do, that their ninja ways have been perfected across generations, and therefore nobody else can sneak around better than they do. And yet, they get caught immediately. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's a meme. You almost wonder if the writer made them dumb on purpose, and if so, why do that? Why are you making the second favorite character in the entire series look dumb? Do you not understand that fans hate that? Just imagine if Batman did something like this in a Justice League game. He talks all big and braggadocious about how stealthy he is and then gets captured immediately. Anyways, Sub-Zero loses in his own chapter to henchmen. And then Shang Tsung shows him the undead army and says, hey, you want to lead this thing? Because even though Shao Kahn and Reiko are literally right there and already work for me, I'm thinking about letting you, the random guy I just captured, lead the army instead. How about that? And of course Sub-Zero agrees because Scorpion's the good guy, which means Sub-Zero's gotta be the bad guy. It's all black and white like that in the new era. We can't have Scorpion and Sub-Zero both be good guys, but Scorpion's the paragon while Sub-Zero's more of an anti-hero. No, we can't have that. If Scorpion's gonna be the good guy and the hero, then we gotta make Sub-Zero the bad guy, that way they fight over and over again in these games. Because fans love that, in every single game they want to see Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight it out. Which, I mean, yeah, I am guilty of that myself. I love it when Sub-Zero and Scorpion fight, but you can find better reasons for them to fight than Sub-Zero just betraying everybody on a whim like this, out of nowhere. I've already made a video talking about this, so I'll keep it brief. If I wrote this scene, it would go down a bit differently. First off, Sub-Zero doesn't lose and get captured because that's stupid. It's his chapter and it's Bi-Han, who's been missing for decades. He's not gonna lose. Instead, he defeats Shang Tsung, and in a last-ditch effort to save his life and not be murdered right there on the spot, Shang Tsung goes, wait, I've got an undead army, let me show it to you. And that's how the player and Sub-Zero learns about the undead army, and then Shang Tsung makes his offer, but he's not asking Sub-Zero to work for him or with him. He's just offering up the army in exchange for his own life, so Sub-Zero doesn't kill him. And then Scorpion says something like, I don't know about this, bro. This guy's evil. I don't think we should trust him. And Sub-Zero goes, shut up, boy. I killed my own dad to become Grandmaster. You fall in line. And Scorpion goes, wait, don't you mean our dad? And Sub-Zero goes, no, you're adopted. Your real name is Hanzo Hasashi. You see what I did there? I made Scorpion Hanzo, which is what fans want, but I was very subtle about it. All jokes aside, writing is not that easy, and I'm not going to rewrite the entire story, but my point is Sub-Zero should not lose in his own chapter, especially not to henchmen. Instead, have him be the one in control when he decides to betray everyone. That way it actually means something and shows more about his character. Although honestly, if it was up to me, Sub-Zero would not become the villain in the first game, because I think fans would prefer a game where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are allies the entire time and just never fight each other. It'd be refreshing. But sadly, that's not what happens. Chapter 9 is Scorpion's time, which means Sub-Zero loses immediately back to back because he's no longer the main character, and he's also forever doomed to get dogged on by Scorpion over and over again in every single game for whatever reason. And believe it or not, that's it for Sub-Zero. Yep, there's several chapters left in story mode, but Sub-Zero won't be there because he's in prison or something. He escapes off screen somehow, so he's still doing stuff and foreshadowed in the sequel, but for the main story mode, he's literally gone, and we're stuck with evil alternate timeline version instead, who dies immediately. So okay, fast forward to Chaos Reigns, where Sub-Zero should play a super big role according to the trailers. He's now the official Grand Master of the Lin Kuei, and Scorpion's not even around to challenge him, which means this guy's got free domain to do pretty much whatever he wants to, and he's captured immediately. Yep, all over again, just like Chapter 8, only you don't play as him this time, because Sub-Zero decides to ambush Scorpion on his wedding day, which is very evil, don't get me wrong, feels very Saturday morning cartoon villain, very Game of Thrones, only it's not Game of Thrones because Sub-Zero's not stealthy about it. Instead, he attacks during broad daylight when all the guards are there. Two different armies are defending this wedding. We have Shaolin monks and the Shirai Ryu, they're both there, along with Johnny Cage, Raiden, Smoke, several of Earthrealm's literal strongest fighters are there. This was not the day to get revenge. This was not how to do it. And anybody with a brain would know that, but Sub-Zero is stupid in this game for some reason. The guy's really dumb. You would think as a ninja, he would try to assassinate Scorpion instead, you know, be stealthy about it. He's got generations of training and raised from birth to be a literal assassin. Not to mention, Sector and Cyrax can literally turn invisible. That's right, full Predator mode. Just cloak, walk up to Scorpion during the wedding and kill him right there while invisible. Or instead, let's make it even easier. Hover in the air really high out of sight while still invisible. That way nobody can see you, not even a 1% chance that anybody with eagle eye vision can see you when you're really high up and invisible. Then while you're up there, just fire a giant missile or several giant missiles like we see in story mode when Sector destroys the door of the wedding. Because once again, despite being ninjas, for some reason they attack through the front door. No idea why. It's honestly very funny how many ways Sub-Zero could have gotten revenge in a stealthy manner with all the technology and manpower at his disposal. It would have been easy for him. In fact, I'm having a hard time thinking of ways that Scorpion would not die. Like, I can't think of a way he survives against somebody with this much resources and technology. But luckily the writer likes Scorpion, so he lives, Sub-Zero gets captured again, and spends a good chunk of story mode doing nothing until he's killed and becomes Noob Saibot. Yeah, NetherRealm brought back Bi-Han as the main Sub-Zero for once, which hadn't been done for like 2 decades at this point. Really cool, honestly. And I'm not making a joke there, it actually was very cool, unironically, for Bi-Han to be the main Sub-Zero in a Mortal Kombat game. Finally, he's not sharing the spotlight with Kuai Liang or any other Sub-Zero. And then they kill him off, and he's Noob Saibot now, which means we literally don't have a Sub-Zero now in the series. We literally don't have a Sub-Zero in this new timeline. What's gonna happen with that? Oh yeah, I didn't even mention how Sub-Zero got himself killed by jumping headfirst into a portal after a villain he knew he couldn't beat.
Bi-Han, no!
And like, I understand Sub-Zero's dumb in this new timeline for some reason, but nobody's that dumb. I'm not joking, everyone. Literally nobody is that stupid to watch Liu Kang, a literal god, get his cheeks handed to him by a more powerful god and then go, yeah, I can solo him. I'm gonna chase after him through his own portal in his own world where his own army of henchmen likely are waiting. I'm gonna do that because even though I'm the leader of the Lin Kuei and the Grand Master was my literal father, so you would think I'd be much smarter than this, I'm gonna be a complete idiot and just get myself killed. It really is crazy to say all this out loud, how all of this happens in the same game to the second most favorite character in the entire series. He's done so dirty, man. And since he is Noob Saibot now, it's likely that in the sequel, there's not gonna be a Sub-Zero, or it's gonna be Frost, or maybe Hanzo, because Hanzo's not Scorpion in this new timeline, which could mean maybe he's got ice powers now and becomes the new Sub-Zero. I've honestly got no clue what's gonna happen, but regardless, it's gonna be a waste of Sub-Zero, alright? Mortal Kombat 1 ruined Sub-Zero. In fact, Mortal Kombat 1 also killed Sub-Zero because he does die in the Chaos Reigns expansion. And listen, real quick to anybody at NetherRealm that could be watching this video, even the writer himself, I don't think the story in MK1 is terrible. I really don't. I don't even think it's bad, but Sub-Zero was done so dirty, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. He's the second most beloved and popular character in the entire series, and yet you did him so dirty, and I don't get it. So to everyone still watching, check out this video next, otherwise Sub-Zero gets treated even worse in the next Mortal Kombat game.